Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto, and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now, we are joined by Neil, 10th Man, Brian's Logic, Eli, Arwin, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Hello. Let's get it on.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Wow, such enthusiasm.
Good morning.
Brilliant stuff. Excellent, excellent. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
Nonsense.
The circle of the equator.
It's taken
Negative.
by way of
by the Black
elevation.
Swan, 2020.
Yes, Black Swan. But yeah, no, the circle of the equator is taken by way of flat Earth elevation angle measurements to Polaris.
So
that's a flat Earth angle measurement to give you that value, the equator.
but that's just a bunch of mathematics. I mean, it's still a circle.
Taken
could
from a
still-
flat plane. Yeah, it's just mathematics of an angle taken from a flat plane called the equator.
Well, it might seem like that mathematically, but come on.
It's actually a half a circle called a meridian.
Okay, so moving on. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Absolutely none whatsoever.
We wouldn't expect to see any Coriolis deviation at ground level because of drag.
You and your reference frames are ruined. Meanwhile,
Yep.
claim of 15 degrees an hour deviation as Earth turns underneath as a non-inertial turning reference frame.
Up where?
In the sky.
In space, outside of the atmosphere.
Well, sphere-shaped air, begging the question fallacy. Air doesn't take the shape of a sphere. Is there any evidence you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container, sphere-shaped or otherwise, to press upon?
Gravity wells. In pseudo-Riemannian force space, I also figured out that in pseudo-Riemannian force space, gases actually do function like liquids.
Let's get this
Did you
in the
know
right
that?
order this
Still
time.
Harmonian force space.
I can deal with this
Do we live
quickly.
in
I've
pseudo-
got it in the right order. It's all right. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Not scientific. no.
See, that's
Well,
shown
that
right.
depends on
No,
what
but-
you mean by science.
Cause and effect reasoning based on a
No.
hypothesis.
No, but there
Okay.
seems to be a lot in pseudo-Riemannian force space.
It's maths.
Yeah.
Uh,
Everything is in
What are you doing,
pseudo-Riemannian
Sense?
force space.
Undermining and hijacking me. Any scientific evidence? Arwen asked for clarity. That's cause and effect. Validation through an experiment based on a hypothesis, based on a naturally observed phenomena. Start there. Give me a naturally observed phenomena for gravity, not pseudo force-based time wells.
Yeah, but we can't vary and manipulate pseudo-Riemannian force space time.
Don't tell me
wells
what you
because
can't.
We can't just,
Ah!
Hold on, I'm not done yet. We
Yeah, you're
can't
just telling me what you
scoop
can't do.
around. We can't just scoop around
Yeah, don't tell me what we can't do.
planetary sizes,
2 for 2.
masses around in order to vary and manipulate.
Don't care what we can't do. What is the phenomena?
not fair.
Just concede. Don't tell me what you can't do. Don't care. What can you
It's
do?
like
Give me a
asking
phenomena.
to prove God with using the scientific method, right?
Appeal to
I mean,
God
come
fallacy.
on.
Look,
You can't vary and manipulate doesn't mean that's not there.
can't. That's very slipped in the middle of this rather heated for no reason discussion that we're having. can't, right? Just can't vary and manipulate that which you assume in pseudo-4 space to be real. It's not, it's maths.
Well,
in
well,
reality...
not without destroying everyone.
We already have gravity as an assertion, Arwin. You've already detailed what it is pseudo-4 space-time wells. Okay. Now, pseudo is there for a reason. I'm saying any scientific evidence of gravity will start with the observed natural phenomena. You've then launched into rumpusing and typical baller behaviour in terms of overriding the point by saying what you can't do over the top of me pointing out, I don't want to hear it, what we can't do. Just give me a naturally occurring phenomena. Then we'll move forward with that phenomena that we're observing something happening in physical reality, not in pseudo-4 space. And then we'll move on to the hypothesis. See if it's been validated or not.
Sorry to interrupt you last second. You're right. I mean, it is conceptual, but yeah, if you want scientific evidence, well, then gravity waves. It has been physically detected with like these giant plates,
What's
and
gravity?
then there's like this weird glitches, and they could not isolate it to be anything else known. So that's how they concluded there has to be a gravity wave. There's a ripple in the gravity in pseudo-Riemannian force space. But it expresses itself physically here on Earth like that.
Stop. I didn't need all that. I needed a phenomena, and before we've even got to putting the phenomena through the cause and effect relationship that should be in place for a scientific method-based claim, that's actual science, scientific evidence for gravity. Before we've even got there, you've said that the phenomena's gravity waves, and then in the same breath, you've managed to get all the way through to the begging the question fallacy of the causal relationship being gravity. If gravity, then gravity. So we already got there before I need to do anything, because I listened, I can summarise it. But it would have been nice to actually have gone through that in the order. So you're saying gravity waves are the phenomena. Well, we already know how you're saying that the phenomena is being caused by gravity, right? That's a begging the question fallacy, Arwin.
On steroids.
Why? Didn't you need a natural phenomenon and to isolate that and then vary and manipulate it?
No.
In order to establish it?
No, you vary and manipulate that which you assume caused it. But let's see it first. Where do we see gravity waves?
Well, they detect it on these very sensitive plates.
No, in nature.
Apple falls from tree?
So we're going to research the reason why apples fall from tree. Helium balloons go up.
That's the original
Gas is expanded all
premise if you want
directions.
to purely
Oh
go
my
by
God,
the
rumpusing
natural
begins
way.
because I'm starting to undo his crap. For typical baller behaviour from Arwin, even though he's not a baller. Okay. No. Helium balloon goes up. Gas expands in all directions. So this phenomena isn't a phenomena because not all things go down. So no.
Why would it all need to go
Why are you
down?
questioning me? Where's the
Does that
gravity
have to do
wave?
with it?
We're supposed to be starting with a phenomena. Where's the natural phenomena? Not something that happens in a machine on plates. For you to beg the question that that's a gravity wave and what's the causal gravity. No. What's the natural phenomenon? Not apple falling. Because things go up as well as down. Depends on the medium. But who cares? That's not the phenomena. If so, we're going to study the cause and effect relationship that is apples falling. To give us science for apples falling, not bloody gravity.
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know the fine detail of exactly what it is, how they measure the gravity waves with those plates. Maybe,
no
hold
worries.
on, let me finish.
What do you mean? There's nothing else to say.
I'm not done yet. I'm not only halfway my statement. I haven't actually contentedly said anything yet.
That's the point. I've asked for scientific evidence. You've not said anything or given us anything
You're
useful.
me.
Now, because you're telling us you haven't got anything, and then saying I need to do the other half of the statement.
I haven't finished my statement.
Well, after telling us you haven't got anything, I don't need anything else. There's no natural phenomena, and there's no science. Don't need any apologetics.
I wasn't done with my statement yet. I was getting to it. You keep over-talking me.
Okay, let's be reasonable. Let me just ask a quick
Yeah,
question
there
about your
might
next
be.
statement. Will the next statement provide scientific evidence for gravity?
Potentially.
Yes or no? Yes. Not potential. I don't care about potential. It's already in existence.
Well, I am not a specialist at the mechanics.
Why can't you just say
of
no
that
so we can
very
move on? Why are you
specific
making this like pulling
experiment.
teeth out? I don't get it, Arwin. It's just, what is it? You want to just piss me off and frustrate me at the beginning of the show because you just simply, as a Baldwin, can't concede. There's no phenomena. Can't we move on? Why are you keeping us here? It's boring.
Well, if you don't want to talk,
It's just boring.
But I am trying to actually fulfill.
I'm trying to go through housekeeping, but you want to keep this non-point about not having any scientific evidence, like you've got a non-point to make. And I'm like, right, so you haven't got any scientific evidence.
Then.
Can we move on? No,
okay,
and then I'm going to get accused of being rumpusing you
then.
while you're talking through my statements constantly.
Yeah,
for a
because you're
non-point.
constantly complaining
Still haven't
about
finished.
how I put my...
Now he's just shouting through his fucking mic. Sick of it. Aaron's becoming a bit of a prick, it seems, audience.
So I'll just move on and stop doing Baldwin then, because this is
You
bullshit.
don't have to move on and do anything.
Right
You just
now.
have to realise that when the concession point comes, as an actual flat earther, you can actually just say, yeah, you're right, I don't have a phenomena, rather than rumpusing the crap out of me and making it into some big deal when all I want to do is get through housekeeping. I don't want a 10-minute discussion on there being no phenomena for gravity, followed by you rage quitting after accusing me of rumpusing you for a non-point that you desperately need to make. It's like, what the hell? All you've done is sabotage the beginning of the show, Arwin. So thanks very much for a 10-minute pointless discussion when we're doing housekeeping that's supposed to be concise, because what, Baldwin's got a non-point to make? Well, thank you so much. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No. All they could do is have an observation of something, but
You don't even
in
know
those
what
fields
my point
they
is.
can't apply.
Oh,
What?
and go away.
What's going on here?
Oh, and go away.
I-
Go away.
Okay. Bye. Have fun there with your.
I am. I'm just trying to run I'm trying to run a bloody live show, but you're deciding that you're going to sabotage. So yeah, go away. I don't want your company if you're going to sabotage my live show by telling me we don't know what we're talking about and you haven't let me make your point. We all know there's no scientific evidence of gravity. We're doing housekeeping. Now, I entertained your nonsense for as long as you felt it was needing entertaining. Now I'm sick of it. 10 straight minutes about gravity. No, it's not reasonable. I don't need to hear a non-point. Once I've got you to finally actually say, no, there isn't anything in physical reality, I don't need the rest of it. It's not concise for an audience. The whole point of this first half of the show isn't to drag out Baldwin's bloody mental masturbation for 10 straight minutes on one subject. Not at all. It's fun for 2 minutes, 3 at tops. 10 minutes, my blood pressure raises. I just want to move on. It's housekeeping. It's supposed to be concise. Will it be? No, Arwin's here. No, it's got to be 10 minutes on gravity. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No evidence, and the evidence that they base it on is no evidence because they need an R value. They don't even have that.
Baller behaviour from Arwin is just as irritating as actual baller behaviour. And because I love Arwin, he's ace, right? It's even more irritating because he's a mate. So in some way, I feel like I should be able to reason with him as a mate, right? But he's doing his thing, and Baldwin's thing is a carbon copy of your typical baller, how they'll behave, right? Well, that is custom designed to get you irritated, to get me talking through Arwin so he can accuse me of rumpusing him when he's dragging the point out, not conceding, being irritating, actually rumpusing me, right? But in so doing, he can call foul. He's doing all the dirty baller tricks. Well, yeah, fine if there's a point to actually be made. The baller dirty tricks, because there's a concession that doesn't want to be made 2 or 3 times, makes the point that that's how ballers behave. That's very useful. I don't want to lose that. You know, I hope Arwin will get over me getting annoyed with him dragging this out for what I consider to be far too long. It is useful because there's no ballers actually here who've got the courage to do that, to actually try and obfuscate their losing points. Who else is doing it? Without Arwin, what have we got? Let's be honest. People watching who don't want to come in to have the same treatment that I'm giving Arwin. And unfortunately, if he's going to push it that far, I'm going to click into anti-flat Earth defeating Nathan. That's how he's going to, you know, if he wants to play Baldwin, he's got to deal with me teabagging him, hasn't he? That's how it goes, right? Is that not unreasonable? I'm not being any different to what if a normal baller, non-Arwin, was coming in doing the same thing. I'd be the same, would I not? I'm dragging this out.
I've been shut down for much less.
You have. That's true.
You don't have to defend it. We've all been shut down for much less. He went on way too long.
80 people watching though, so I assume people will go, oh, this is ace. Share. I'll actually share today. Hopefully I'll come back and there'll be more rows. Internal disputes don't typically happen on the live show. Anyway, let's move on with housekeeping. Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Well, that's all we need, right? I mean, we just need it to be where it's supposed to be. A geometric horizon would match their math of 3959 and observer height. And that's all we would need to know that the Earth had an R value, but they can't produce that.
Owen stayed in character in the live chat. You did teabag shit, Nathan. You rumpus me like a loser. He's still in character.
Hey, he's got. Hold on, he's got Phil B taking his back, saying they
Phil
don't
B's got your
understand
back.
you, Owen.
Okay, come on. Can we
Excellent.
move on?
Yes, let's move on.
Can we move on? Can we
Any
move on
evidence
to
you can-
the?
I'm just
review
wiping the
video
tears out my
once we're done
eyes.
with this?
Just give me a second. Any evidence you can require an elevation angle measurement from a curved baseline?
Another impossibility. They don't ever. Well, no one does. Well, it can't be done. You can't have a elevation angle from a curved baseline. The sextant can never work off of the surface of the globe if the globe has a curved baseline, which it must.
Isn't that why they cut the Earth in half, and do all that nonsense?
What? Cut the Earth in half?
Well, they don't even have to cut it in half. You just say, where is the measurements originating from? Well, to the naked eye, it's the guy on the boat with the sextant on sea level, assuming the Earth is curved, but not curved, but assuming. In the books, it says, no. It's not the guy with the sextant at sea level who assumes the Earth is curved with the Dingleberry drawing we give him in the book. It's from the equatorial plane where there is no curve. It's a disk.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Negative.
95 people watching. Please share the show. Reacting to a few videos today, so if we do get over 120 people watching, which is like my standard, to say, okay, we'll extend the live show. Got up to 115 yesterday without any prompting. So hopefully with a bit of prompting to share the show, we'll get up to 120 and we'll plough our way through some reaction videos. We've already done David Mitchell in the pre-show. And I like David Mitchell, I've got to be honest. I think he's funny. But, you know, using stereotyping fallacies and humour with disdain, as opposed to, this is funny. Yeah, it got some laughs from the audience, but it didn't seem very funny to me. Anyway, that's in the pre-show. Check that out if you're a member. It'll come out in a few days. If you're not, on the second channel, subscribe today. Did we cover all of the housekeeping questions? Brian, did you want to add the Brian housekeeping question? Any evidence that great circle roots are actually circles? Brian, sharp as a tack. I love it. I'll tap this. Is this on?
I watched the video. I watched the video.
I'm sorry. Hello. I'm sorry. I can't talk at the moment. I just joined, but I can't talk at the moment.
It's okay.
And no, there is no evidence that great circle roots are circles. I have not been given any evidence for that.
I'll talk to you later, Brian. It's okay. Yeah. I think that's it. I think we've covered all the housekeeping questions.
There are videos.
Go on, Ted, go on.
There are videos that show the greats. Yeah, I'm trying. There are videos that I watch. It's funny that they show a great circle route from above down look. It's a straight line. They say it's a straight line when you're looking at it this way, and then they show it orthographically, and then they have to curve it on the piece of paper.
Okay, we're going to get into this. Is there anything anyone wants to add from Discord before I start this video up? Nope. Okie doke. So this is Flat Earth Debate with Dan Cummings. I assume it's just a hashtag shorts video, so it's going to be short.
conspiracy theorists while listening to them on satellite radio that the Earth is flat. An almost unfathomable level of...
Okay, let's cover that first. So the gag is satellite radio, talking about flat Earth on quote-unquote satellite radio. Okay? So what? By title only, a bit like GPS, you think that's a proof that the Earth's a sphere? Because they say they've got satellites, right? Does anyone else want to cover this before I get into it? Somebody might be itching. No? Okay. So, because
actually,
no, go ahead.
I don't think we should. It's meant to be comedy, though. This isn't some guy trying to make a point. This is comedy itself.
No, I realise. While we may give our own poetic license to joke about such things, here it's an outrage, and we will cover it in that way. No, I get it. It's comedy. And the reason it gets a laugh is because satellites, right? Based on the presupposition that Earth's a sphere with an R value and everything falling around the sphere, that's a satellite. Based on the assumption of orbital mechanics based on Kepler. So we've got orbits with satellites. So obviously that proves we've got satellites. Ha ha ha. Yeah. We get how people have been brainwashed, and the utilisation of their brainwashing is what gets the comedy reaction. I get that. Go on, Tent.
What makes it funny, though, is the fact that... Sorry, sir.
No, it's all right. Go on, Adam. I'll go after you.
Tent's got a bit of a delay, Adam. That's why it's funny. Go ahead, Adam.
Is the fact that you, the listener, and the comedian, the orator, you were both in possession of additional knowledge over the person that you're lampooning. Yeah? The reason it's funny is because you know that they're really stupid, because you're in possession of this additional knowledge, which means their statement is ridiculous. Whereas in the reality, when we turn it around, if we're going to analyse these sorts of jokes, even that position is ignorance on their behalf. Look at what they say. Satellite radio. Let's go into the detail, but the reason it's funny is because the listener knows more than these dumb flat earthers. So
gotcha.
The medium and the listener tease it.
Gotcha. So by contrast, to make it acceptable in a like-for-like comparison, black versus white, yin and yang and all that, if we were being served up this joke, that's flat earthers, us, at a flat earth conference, the flat earther steps on stage and says, these globe believers, they're just idiots. They're broadcasting about the earth being a globe from an aeroplane. Similar thing, right?
Yes, but, from an aeroplane, whereas I was going to say, and they set up their satellite dish by angling the dish. So that has the flat earther in additional knowledge, which is why it's funny. Because
in additional, boom, boom.
Yeah, but it's over and equal and it's correct. Whereas what's funny here is even the point of the ridiculous is based in their fallacy that they can't prove.
Irony. They call it a flat earth debate to make it sound more intellectual. All right, there's two sides to the flat earth debate. And if you're a flat earth...
Is he shouting us out? Is this about us?
Sounds like, how long's this?
It might be.
But right now you're thinking, exactly.
No, I'm thinking that's the title of my show. Are you talking about us, or are you talking about people in general titling their videos Flat Earth Debate when they talk about Flat Earth from one side or the other? Hopefully it's
Jesus Christ. I should have wore a tie.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he is.
Need to blaspheme. Jane, you don't need to use the Lord's name in vain, please.
Did I? 100 people
no,
watching.
Gene,
Good morning. Good morning,
Share the
guys.
show. Just a big shout out to all of you who did actually share the show. So massive shout out to all the people who share the show. 102 people watching now. So that's the only reason we've got 102 people watching, because the people who are regulars mostly share the show regularly. But if you're coming and you're enjoying this for the first time, please share the show. If you typically don't, obviously this is a wonderful show. Hopefully Arwen will rejoin us. And let's crack on.
There's only two sides, you smug son of a bitch.
So only two sides, as in we can only have a false dichotomy, flat versus globe. You see, we recently in 2021, might have been 2022, figured out that all of the model reifications of both sides come from a flat plane. So strictly speaking, it was never a false dichotomy because both options were flat. That's right, in case you were mishearing me. The globe option on the one side of the false dichotomy that he says there's only two options for is also a flat Earth model.
There's the round side and the flat side.
Wrong. There's plenty of other alternative choices to this false dichotomy you're presenting. What about concavers?
Shouldn't it be spherical side? I got a quarter in my pocket that's round, also flat. So
This guy's geometrically illiterate. Unfortunately, Chocolate doesn't understand the words that he's using. For comedy purposes, doesn't have to be geometrically literate, it seems.
This is how insane this argument is. On the round side of this debate is every scientist alive.
That's not correct. See, science establishes cause and effect. In this arena, we're dealing with the nature of Earth. That's natural science. The cause and effect reasoning based on hypothesis, based on natural phenomena. Flat and round, neither are phenomena. Both are concrete nouns. So there is not a scientist in the land that could offer validity for either, because it's not a scientific inquiry, flat or round. Demonstrating admirably that you haven't got the slightest idea what science is, do you, Beardy Weirdy? No, you do not.
Not most. All of them.
None of them. Zero. Nada. Nil. Zilch. Absolutely no scientist can offer validity to a comparison of juxtaposition you've offered incorrectly with a false dichotomy for two concrete nouns. Nothing's happening. Science establishes the cause of phenomena. So scientists deal with phenomena. That's something happening. Do you think flat Earth is something happening? So it's not within the remit of science. Idiot.
Every legitimate scientist, every astronomy and physics professor.
Astronomy? Astronomy? Well, looking at twinkly lights through telescopes, you think that's establishing cause and effect reasoning through systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis to figure out the cause of a phenomena you've studied? I mean, maybe the light's twinkling is a phenomena, but you think they're varying and manipulating presumed causes of those phenomena to establish them scientifically as either causing them or not causing them? That would be hypothesis validation, aka experimentation. I don't think any of the words I'm using are comprehending in this Beardy Weirdy's brain.
Every pilot who makes it to their destination consistently.
Pilot? So literally, earlier on we were talking about his gag making its way to the audience's mentality for the insider information they have in regards to presupposed orbital mechanics of satellites. Now he's talking about an airplane, one that debunks Earth rotation and Earth curvature. Where's my guffaws? Where's my applause and laughter? Yeah, you're about to talk about it with something that only operates on a flat plane. You can even get your spacemen from NASA and their documents declaring how people who fly have to utilise a flat plane. A flat Earth, my friend.
There are people being convinced.
That's it. That was it. Only a very short video. There is one other, which is Bill Nye. Do we want to cover this one as well?
Yes, let's get him.
BMF, Black Mafia.
Okay, we'll come to that after the 20-second ad. What do we all make of that then?
That last bit of that comment, Nathan, just the way you've appraised it, that's the kind of point I was trying to make. That the point of this is to sit there and laugh at us because we're dumb and we don't know anything. And that was how that little sketch is set up. But within his joke and ridicule of us, what he actually goes on to do is demonstrate his complete ignorance, lack of understanding, even down to the point of what science is and who can be a scientist. Yeah, run over.
Any more? Anyone from Discord got any comments on that before we move on?
I would just say it's kind of funny because when when it's put to them, when there's no audience, the Globers don't seem to laugh very much, right? It seems really cute and amusing at first, ha ha, he he. And so you start asking questions like, where's your measured curvature? And how do you have gas pressure without a container? All of a sudden, the faces get very serious. And it's like, well, I don't know. So I find it funny that he makes it like, oh, he's in the audience, he's a comedian, and I get it. But I just find the irony beautiful because in real life, they're not laughing like that.
We're laughing, and they are talking about us.
No.
Go, 10th, go.
Oh, no, I was waiting for him to finish. Is he going to finish?
Can you still hear him?
I think he's finished.
Neil. Okay. Remember, well, you never finished it, but Sabine, who said flat earthers may be wrong, but not stupid yesterday. That video still needs to be reviewed, but she did put something in there. It's just that the Globers are uncomfortable because they don't know how to defend the globe. Something to that effect, she said. Okay. Then you've got this side, which is to mock anything that has to do with flat earth research or flat earth debate. And this is what you find on the top searches. This is what anyone who sits down with chocolate would go home and say, hey, I wonder, yeah, chocolate asked some good questions. I'm going to go check it out. Flat earth. And then they see this stuff. And this is all on purpose to shame them, to look stupid, to be laughed at. And they don't want to talk to chocolate tomorrow because they saw this in the videos that are on the list today. These are all there to shame people. Like, I'm not going to be stupid. I don't know. I mean, I like chocolate, but that's ridiculous. I'm not even going to engage with them anymore. It's obvious what this thing is. This is not anything innocent. This is programming at its finest.
Going on around here.
We'll get to the bottom of it.
And we're glad to have you because we know you're a sound mind.
You're a conspiracy theorist. That's what you are.
Yeah. Professional. I dabble. He might.
Wow. So they're just accepting this tag, whoever these two guys are. So this is complex news. Big subscriber base, 2.5 million people. Wow. Bill Nye comes for BOB about flat Earth belief.
May I comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So who Bill Nye agreed to come on, and these conspiracy people should have some nice questions and good arguments. Watch as you go through this. Nada. All programming. Nada.
Might be the
You
professional. Dabble, yeah.
Dabble, okay.
I like the theories, but I don't know if I
What
can subscribe
appeals to you about the theories?
It's the emotion that some people get into the theories, you know.
Wow, this is definitely off to a bad start. So producers have given BOB the lowest possible hanging fruit then.
We'll talk about some of them in a bit, but you know, there's basketball players, there's rappers who are very invested in, you know, believing some of these things, and it doesn't feel like they really think about them.
How the hell does he know? Does he divine the thoughts of these basketball players? Has he got a little crystal ball?
And I like to think about a lot of this stuff.
You like to think about other people's feelings, about what other people think and feel. Why? What you Mystic Meg? What's going on?
But not get too invested, you know, passionately in it.
Not get too invested. You've divined the thoughts of another man.
If that makes sense.
It does. You enjoy it.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
The way people read their horoscope.
Exactly.
Horoscopes? Well, like the stars. Well, we're immediately into besmirching all of the actual validity given to the positioning data of the stars by talking about horoscopes. Oh, here we go. The guy's just divined another man's thoughts with his crystal ball he's not actually looking into, and now we're talking about horoscopes. He's about ass about face to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the world's not flat. Okay.
Why are you declaring that when it's measured and navigated that way? And all of the maps and models that you have for your sphere were derived from a flat plane. I'm pretty sure it is flat.
The Earth is not flat. Not gonna be flat.
You need to say it twice. What about backing that statement? You've made a positive assertion now. It's not flat. Well, what makes you say that? What demonstrates that positive assertion you're now making?
It's definitive.
And I know you have some flat Earth viewers.
Yes,
you
should. Yeah.
So many flat Earth.
Yeah, and so I know what's appealing about conspiracy theories, Cal.
What's that?
Do you? All right, here we go.
It's a shortcut.
Yes.
If only there were 60 people.
Shortcut? What are you talking about? Been doing this for nigh on 8 years, researching it and finding new things out every day. Shortcut? I think not.
In a conspiracy, we just go find those 6 people and just stay. Shut up. Sit down. You stop it.
Is that how this works? Find people that disagree with your presuppositional values, your heliocentric religion, and the way to deal with them is to just tell them to shut up. No, you see, I'm not just telling you, the globe-believing fundamentalist religious zealot, to just shut up. I debunk your assertions of heliocentrism, sky vacuums, and earth curvature. That's what I do. I just tell you, shut up. Oh, shut up with your globe belief. Boring everyone.
And then everything would be fine.
Yeah.
But
if everyone just shut up that wasn't agreeing with you, everything would be fine, would it, Bowtie?
Ain't how it is.
At all.
There's 7.4 billion people all
Is there? How do you know there's 7.4 billion people?
trying to do things.
Yeah. Well,
wow, how profound. So that statement wasn't really there to do anything other than have the editor show a spinning ball to remind you of your presupposition while he throws out some random factoids that he's been given.
No.
And I mean,
what?
No. That's hang on. Pause. No. That was well thought out. Actually, if you can round up the 60 people who are all the flat earthers in the world and tell them to shut up, because there's 7.4 billion people trying to do things, so there's only 60 people in the whole world that believe flat earth compared to 7.4 billion. This is what he's trying to do.
We've reached the current peak of flat earth debate. Don't get me wrong, this show's had 300 plus viewers at its peak previously, till we were absolutely cobbled. 125 people watching. And we're only half an hour into the show. Well, a little bit over half an hour into the show. Fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing. It looks like we are going to be doing this for a while, so we'll go all the way through this video, even if it takes a little bit longer than the normal live show. But we might actually get there anyway. We'll see.
It's a great segue because some of those people are, Kyrie Irving,
influential,
B.O.B.
thoughtful people who think. They think about basketball defense, complicated business.
Yeah.
They think about their statistics constantly. They're constantly.
So he's appealing to there not being any scientific validity, presumably, or any professional reason for them to be declaring the Earth's flat. Yeah. Okay. So.
Evaluating their shooting percentage, right? Their field goal percentage. They get to the court early and they dribble the ball to see which parts of the court are kind of dead compared to.
Yeah, we know what basketball players do, Bill.
The lively parts, right? From somebody who spilled a soft drink 5 years ago and it didn't get wiped up fast. Yes, they think about that.
Yeah.
Yet they're somehow able to look at pictures of the Earth from.
You see what he's doing here? He's cornering them that this is a professional basketball player, and then he, the non-professional basketball player, Bill Nye that is, starts explaining what a professional basketball player does. So he has enough knowledge that Kyrie Irving gets there early, dribbles, and then he looks for the dead spots because someone may have spilled the soda and didn't clean up for a few hours. So, okay, I better not dribble over this. Bill Nye, the so-called science guy, knows what basketball players do, but what he's doing is he's saying that guy knows basketball, but he watches a YouTube video and all of a sudden he's an expert on flat earth. You see, I mean, it's so obvious what the stupid strategy here is.
Space.
Bill, I know what basketball players do, and why is he commenting? Why is he commenting on basketball players just limiting their cognitive powers to basketball only?
What he's appealed to is that they haven't been to space. So just as you interrupted, he says these people might be able to dribble a basketball and calculate the spills on the court, but they haven't been to space. That's his shtick.
Able to accept weather forecasting from satellites. They're able.
See, in the same way the comedian is going to satellites, this guy's putting them in a CGI world of orbital mechanics by way of the editor's choice of various CGI imagery of Earth from space. You're saying you haven't been here. Kyrie Irving hasn't been to space. He's a basketball player. So, in essence, you should trust the people who go to space. A second law of thermodynamics sky vacuum violation. So this gas in this CGI image, right, that we're all breathing at ground level, right, clouds and stuff, yeah, that is directly next to a 10 to the minus 17 torr sky vacuum, space, outer space, for these orbits drawn with CGI on a CGI image of a globe that you've never seen. So because we've never seen their claim to be proven positive of a sphere Earth, we're not allowed to have a comment on it, because there's plenty of bullshitters who claim to go to Narnia, traversing the high-pressure gas, entering an area that the gas isn't expanding into in violation of gas behaviour, to photo these CGI images. They're not photos. Why not just bombard us with images of real footage from space? I know, we've got to have the CGI where you haven't been. Well, why? That's because there isn't a place to go to get video footage of Earth from space. You've got composites from NASA with them showing them filming guys in pools with images of a rendered Earth behind them that sometimes goes wonky, sometimes doesn't rotate, has all sorts of crazy CGI images going wrong. That's all it is. There is no space to go to get pictures from, to appeal to, when you haven't proven your sphere Earth position that everyone begs the question of.
Able to listen to CNN from the other side of the world, bounced off spacecraft, and yet...
Bounced off spacecraft? No. Space is fake. If the sky was a vacuum, the gas we breathe would fill the space.
Conclude that since they can't see Florida from Manhattan...
Because it's too small. You have no concept of perspective.
The world must be flat or something.
Right, what? Because we can't see something from a given distance when it's too small to see, you feel that's a justification for it not being flat. Your only assertion in Earth curve mathematics for not seeing something in the distance is that Earth curve got in the way with its physical geometric limitation. Oh, unless, of course, that physical geometric Earth curve limitation that's stopping you seeing distant cities is refracted, in which case it completely violates any geometric assertion because you haven't got tangent anymore. We've debunked every aspect of your begging the question fallacy, Bill.
Freaking thing.
Well, it's
just weird.
It's a weird theory.
It's the 21st century here, people.
It's a weird theory.
It's the 21st century. Okay, Bill.
Navigated around the world using the stars with...
Oh, really? How fascinating. You think using the stars behind a globe Earth in a vacuum was how they did the navigation, do you, Bill? Incorrect. What they did was use the equatorial plane, which, if drawn in a diagram, would be a flat Earth at the centre of the sphere, with you standing in the middle of it, with an angle only capable of measuring off a flat Earth, projected through the sphere that's ultimately redundant when navigating with the stars, out to a flat baseline, with an infinite distance not using your spherical surface, but using an equatorial flat plane surface, centred, to give you angles to the stars beyond the redundant sphere. So navigators use a flat Earth, Bill. Maybe you should look into navigation and not rely on the editing abilities of somebody putting this video together to highlight your presupposition that somehow you can acquire an elevation angle measurement off a curved surface. Oh, even artificial intelligence knows that's not the case. Dumbo.
Full knowledge that the Earth was a ball.
Mm-hmm. No. Full knowledge that you can only acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved baseline? No, that's not a possibility, my friend. You have to have a flat plane to navigate. How can you get measurements of angles from flat baselines to stars if it's curved? Answer, you cannot. Furthermore, navigation of a sphere with the current methodology is impossible. Because at some stage you're going to be at the centre of your sphere Earth, if you're assuming that you're in any way dealing with a spherical surface, which you could not get an angle from. So no, they didn't need a sphere. It makes it incredibly difficult, in fact impossible, to be standing at the centre of a sphere Earth to do navigation, which is how it's diagrammatically drawn out. If you think you're on a sphere, you're not. You can, on the other hand, ignore all the sphere nonsense, measure an angle to a star, and then calculate your position on a flat map using a flat baseline. Coincidentally, the way your latitude lines were derived in the first place, by angle measurements to Polaris, to give you these lines, drawn as circles, based on areas of equal elevation. That's flat planes underneath Polaris at its centre. So no, all of this requires a flat plane. None of it is benefited in any way, in fact hindered by a sphere Earth.
7 or 8 centuries ago. Like, this is not a new idea, people.
Yeah, it's always used flat planes and angles to stars.
At all.
If only there were 60 people who could just give the whistling backhand. Hey, you want a fresh one?
Oh, really? So based on the fact that you've just declared incorrectly that a globe Earth is somehow being used for centuries, I could backhand you and show you that they're measuring flat Earth elevation angle measurements to these stars. That's a justification to beat your old ass, is it, Bill?
What? And then they'd shut up.
That's all right, is it? I beat Bill around the head with a sextant.
And we could move.
You stupid old man. You think you use elevation angle measurements off curved surfaces? Badoosh!
On.
The backhand is science.
Yeah, backhand with a sextant.
With the flat Earth.
I love it. No, I love it. But I mean, it's one of those things where we want to...
Seriously, does Bill Nye think it's justified to beat people if they don't understand the concept of measuring flat Earth elevation angles? Is that justification to beat Bill Nye? If you meet Bill on the street and you happen to have a sextant in your hand, and you go, you declared that it's okay to backhand people if they don't understand that navigation's done on a curved surface, a sphere Earth. Let me show you this diagrammatical example of how navigation's done using the equatorial plane with you standing in the middle of a sphere, measuring angles off an equatorial plane. Now, get on your knees, Bill, so I can beat you with the back of my hand.
I don't want to say play devil's advocate, but working off the assumption...
You want to see their point of view.
Yeah, working off...
sympathetic to... Can I say dumbass?
Sorry, are you calling navigators dumb, Bill? I mean, people in the Navy don't tend to strike me as like people that take kindly to being called dumbass by an ugly old git who feels it's necessary to backhand people who understand that elevation angle measurements are taken from a flat surface. The baseline for Earth is flat. They must understand that principle when they take an angle from it. Yeah? So they're dumb, are they, Bill? These people who appreciate how Earth is navigated flat.
Please, please, I would appreciate it.
My career just ended.
No, you're good. So let's say the Earth is flat, okay?
No, it isn't.
Sorry, was the steam coming out your ears the same as the steam that came out of the engines on ships that were navigating it flat? With sextants taking angles from a flat baseline? And then plotting their courses on maps that didn't have curves taken into account on them? Because I assure you, they're navigating flat, Bill. And just assuming, for the sake of argument, without examples of why, like I've given, that it is flat, you won't accept it. You just, steam comes out your ears, no, we'll not compute, backhand all detractors of my religion, literally inflict pain on them is what Bill Nye suggests you should do, if you don't accept his religious belief. What an outrage.
But we have...
Let's say I have superpowers and I can fly.
Some would say that.
Yeah.
Some would say that.
Well, try it. Go to the top of the building and see what happens.
Just
we'll
jump.
take a meeting.
And what would the
So let me get it straight. Bill Nye's now encouraging, as a mainstream pretender clown purveyor of science, that you should jump off buildings if you don't believe with this religion. Why is it that we suffer any form of censorship as flat earthers when globe earth religiotards literally suggest that if you disagree with them, you should jump off a building, and then show you a man falling off a building in case you didn't understand what they were telling you to do? How is this acceptable in a modern society? Yet meanwhile, while this clown Bill Nye is telling you to jump off a building to prove that what, we're on a sphere, because of his begging the question gravity assertion, that's somehow a phenomena when you fall to your death, meanwhile, you can pass a helium balloon that a child let go on your way down, can't you? So when the person you've suggested jumps to their death watches a helium balloon pass them by on its way up, would you say that that somehow defeats your nonsensical assertion that everything goes down? Proving what? The gas go down, go boom, boom, clown show? What an outrage! I think the only person needing to jump off a building here is you.
Gravity on a flat Earth be like?
You tell me, man.
Well, you tell me, what about helium balloons being released and going up in the air? Is that gravity on a flat Earth? Is that anti-gravity on a sphere?
And completely inconsistent with all the physics we know.
What? Helium balloons are inconsistent with the physics we know, are they, Clown Show? Gas expanding to fill volumes? That's inconsistent with the physics you know. Yes, because you don't know any physics. Otherwise you'd know gas expands to fill space. Yeah, the space it's debunking, outer space, that's what gas does. Somehow you don't know this, yeah, because it violates every principle of your heliocentric faith. Go on, whoever it was from Discord. Was it G+?
No, it was me. Oh, it was me. But man, you're on a good rant. So, but what I was going to say is, just like the first two, they mock flat earthers, and they just use titles like science or gravity or physics, but they never prove it because they can't. So this is their strategy, is to put these videos up so that anyone who's ever interested in flat earth runs into this video, which is choreographed with laughter, and two guys that are supposed to check out conspiracies that are in business with Bill Nye basically at this point, because they're not checking out conspiracies for the sake of where we lied to. They're checking out why do people believe in them and what kind of psychological person believe in conspiracies. They're not real conspiracy channel, this one. These two, you can see how it goes. They're in the same bed.
I have
GMM over R squared, people. This goes way back. You don't get an R squared unless you got a sphere.
So you don't get an R squared unless you assume you've got an R. So where'd you get R, Bill Nye? Rattling off some seemingly complicated maths to describe what force is derived of in your... No, it wasn't Newtonian. Was it Newtonian gravitation that you just threw up? Had it on screen for a fraction of a second, of course. Meanwhile, your R squared requires a sphere Earth R value that we've debunked. If Earth was a sphere with a radius value of 3959 miles, then every distance to the horizon could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as per your sphere Earth mathematics that excludes perspective. And the distance to the horizon in the Black Swan is beyond the physical geometric limitations of a sphere Earth radius 3959, the R in your equation. Therefore, the Earth is not a sphere radius 3959. You don't have a measurement or a tangent point, especially when the comeback from our opponents is the line to the horizon's refracted. So you don't have a tangent, you don't have an R value, you don't have any gravity, you don't have a natural phenomena. All you can do is spew some maths at these two people. Hopefully quick enough for them to not challenge it like I just have.
The Earth is not flat, people. What is wrong with you?
What, based on that mathematical equation you just rattled off? I debunked the R value in it. The Earth's not a sphere. We can debunk the assertion. We can debunk the mathematics. We can debunk the principles behind the mathematics. We can debunk the orbital motion and tell you about the history of where it was presupposed and who it was presupposed by and why it was presupposed. All of your sphere Earth religion has come from the Roman Catholic Church. You are just another version of a priest. That's all this guy is. A very low-level, ignorant one.
Do you have, arguments with people? Do people come up to you talking flat Earth?
They do, and steam just comes out of his ears, and he tells them Earth's not flat and gives them a backhander. Don't you, Bill?
Not to me, because they know it's whistling backhand time.
Yeah, my God. So I was right. Whistling steam out the ears and give him a backhand. So if you happen to come across Bill Nye, and you happen to have watched this show, his standards are, when you point out that Earth is not navigated on a spherical surface, and any derivation of the flat Earth elevation angle measurement you took, if claimed to be using a sphere, will be done from the equatorial plane with you standing in the molten iron core. Not that you can, because it can't be done off a curved surface. It's angle-based. Well, according to Bill, when you point that out to him, and steam's coming out of his ears, you've got a good right to backhand the guy by his own standards. So if you come across a few beatings from these people you say should just shut up, you'll understand why, won't you, Bill? Because your standards are you can backhand them. just for clarity, I don't suggest people jump off buildings to prove that helium balloons don't go up in the air and everything goes down, go boom, boom, because gas behaves that way when it doesn't. I don't suggest you do that. I don't suggest you give Bill Nye backhanders because of his abject stupidity. Yeah? His Dunning-Kruger ignorance has led him to say that you should be getting a backhander, though. Just bear that in mind.
Makes sense.
It's on site if you come up to this.
Exactly.
No, but I mean,
Yeah. You tell this guy how he should be giving you a backhander if you believe this. Yeah? Maybe give him permission to smack you. Right, guys? You pathetic cucks.
you guys, they ain't
doing none of that.
What was that all about? Did he say something embarrassing that it needed some whistle to go over the top of it when the edit came?
Dismissal of so much of human knowledge is crystallized this idea that the earth might be flat. It is just saying everybody who came before me is a dumbass.
Well, everybody who navigated using flat earth elevation angle measurements because they couldn't do it any other way is a dumbass. Is that what you're saying, Bill?
And that's wrong.
No,
people,
no. What he's saying, what he's saying is that guy Chocolate saying who talked to you yesterday. He is the dumbass, and everyone that see they just point the way. There's no defense for the globe Earth, so they have to resort to this.
The beauty, the passion, beauty, and joy, the PB&J of science, is that you can do it for yourself. It's not man, woman. It's not recently from Africa, recently from Europe. It's true for everyone. The Earth goes around the sun. The Earth's a ball.
That's not science. Saying everybody can do it, Earth goes round the sun. Those are complete non sequitur. So you're not detailing what science is. You're doing your audience a disservice because you're telling them science is a wonderful thing. It's not about a man or a woman. It's about anybody being able to do it. Next statement, Earth goes round the sun. No, that's a belief. That's a religious faith. It's called the heliocentric religious faith. Sun at center, heliocentrus. Heliocentric? That's what you're saying. Earth goes round the sun. Sun at center. No, that's a model of the world. That's not science. Now, just because Bill Nye has sold you short, you the audience, I'll tell you what science actually is. Science is the establishment of cause and effect based on the observation of a naturally occurring phenomena that you want to know the cause of, and your supposition of the cause. You'll then formulate that supposition of cause for the phenomena you're studying in nature into something known as a hypothesis. And a hypothesis has got two sides to it, an alternative and a null. The alternative is the positive assertion that what you assume causes the effect you're studying will cause the effect. That's if A, your supposition of cause, then B, the effect you're studying in nature. That's an alternative hypothesis. The contrapositive is a null hypothesis. If A, the supposition of cause you will vary in your experiment, then not B, null outcome, did not cause the effect. Now both stand alongside each other in what's known as a hypothesis, also known as a scientific prediction. Now, a scientific prediction has no description that you can take from it until you validate it. No explanation can be derived because you've got two outcomes. If A, then B, and if A, not B. And they are not mutually inclusive. Only one can be true. It violates the law of non-contradiction for both A to cause B and not cause B. So only one is true. And when you vary A and see if it causes B, either the alternative or the null will be proven. So you prove that A does not cause B. Supposition validated. A didn't cause B, tick. Proven. Or, hopefully, because this is what you're testing, A does cause B. So supposition proven also. A caused B. Tick. Now you ipso facto invalidate the other half of the hypothesis when you perform an experiment. If A caused B, tick, then it didn't not cause B. Cross. Only one is valid. Ergo, the method offers empiricism. You empirically validated that A caused B, or you empirically validated A did not cause B. So it's an empirical method of validation for a cause you are studying in nature. That is natural science, not a use of the word telling you anybody can do it and then imposing your religious pseudoscience belief of sun being at center, heliocentric. That's not science. That's a declaration of religious faith.
Ball. It ain't about, and if you believe the flat earth, go to the freaking edge, take a picture.
Sorry, what edge? So you've got a stereotyping fallacy and a straw man. The edge that you have decided that we have, what edge? I didn't claim any edge. But you're going to demand that because I've claimed Earth is flat because it's navigated that way as you got incorrect, and according to your own standard should be backhanded for, I should go to an edge to prove it to you. That's your standard you impose on me. No. If I don't make any claim at all, there's only one positive assertion being made, and that's Earth spherical. And all the positive claims of sphericity have been debunked. Furthermore, ipso facto, it is my positive claim to assert that it's navigated flat. It can't not be because you require elevation angles to do so. And any transposition, as detailed earlier, to a sphere will involve you standing in the middle of a molten iron core in order for any angles taken from the equatorial plane to make any sense with the dome of the heavens that you are measuring. Not taking angles from curved surfaces, because that cannot be done.
Well, it's interesting.
Post it on the gram.
Well, one of the people, B.O.B., that's on the gram.
Pull back.
Well, no, B.O.B.'s on the gram talking a lot of this stuff, and he's actually at the point.
He's just trying to sell albums.
That's the second time you've interrupted him. All he's done is said, B.O.B. has. That's how much of information that you get from this fundamentalist religious zealot before he interrupts. So just mention the name of somebody who's a flat earther and you won't get to finish your sentence twice.
He's got a GoFundMe. He's trying to buy a satellite to take his own pictures to prove.
So before you do that, why don't consider joining the Planetary Society? We will have a satellite. Join.
So again, we're back to CGI images of Earth in a sky vacuum. So this is 10 to the minus 17 torr sky vacuum, right, lads? Now, while it's not science to detail gas behaviour, that's just describing the phenomena. It's not validation of cause, just how gas behaves. I'm not going to be so bold and arrogant like you, the clown, to declare that this is science to make what I say sound more valid. It's just a fact. Gas expands in all directions. That includes up. When it's created at ground level, yeah, completely invalidating your assertion that proving gravity is jumping off a building when you're displacing gas that's created at ground level and making its way up. Well, that gas is making its way up because it's expanding, dispersion. It's an entropic effect. And that entropic effect would be the effect of the gas at high pressure expanding into a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum. Now, even your average layman understands what happens when you put high pressure gas next to a vacuum. And according to this CGI rendering of a sphere Earth in a sky vacuum, gas isn't following entropic law. It's not expanding into the vacuum. Why? Oh, because according to Bill Nye, men jump off buildings. That doesn't stop gas expansion, though, does it? The gas that you fell through to your death at Bill Nye's behest did not go down. It came from the ground and made its way up, expanding into the volume it had available. That would include, if it was true, a sky vacuum, massive expanse of volume. Yet the sky's not a volume for gas to fill, lads, because it'd have filled it already. We'd all be dead.
In the Planetary Society, we will have cameras that will take a picture of the Earth, and you can just...
Really? So discourage somebody from doing it themselves and tell them to go to the church and get the church's pictures, right, Bill? So according to the guy's last statement, his mate, B.O.B., wants to send a satellite up to look at Earth being spherical. Now, given that he's even posing this in a way that would affirm your religious belief, and you should have absolutely no issue with him doing this, if it is the case, but you want to discourage him and tell him, no, just go to the church. They've already got the pictures of Narnia. You can see Narnia for yourself at the church.
Decide for yourself. Not a conspiracy. Come to Cape Canaveral and see the rocket launch.
What? Watch it go off into the distance towards the horizon? Or see it traverse the gas pressure we're all breathing, past the Kármán line where gas decides to violate natural law and just chill out there and maybe go back down again if it feels so inclined? That rocket, the one that's going into Narnia, an area of volume that gas pressure isn't filling, those rockets that take pictures from Narnia, right? No, we can debunk them based on natural law. Gas would fill the space also. You wouldn't pass the gas in your rocket and wave goodbye to it. It too could fill that volume and would instantly. We'd all be dead if rockets went to space, because so could gas.
I'm here for you, man. B.O.B., come to Cape... I challenge you.
B.O.B., you hear this?
He wants to do it for himself. Well, he must do it under the church's supervision. Right, Bill? Like you haven't.
Canaveral and watch a rocket launch.
And what will that prove? That we send up fireworks? So if I send off a bottle rocket, equivalent to NASA's much more grandiose version, that proves that there's a sky vacuum, watching a rocket take off. How does that prove that gas isn't filling an area of enormous volume that apparently the rocket's going to? So we watch the rocket go towards the horizon and disappear from view, and after it disappears from view, it traverses the high-pressure gas we're all breathing and enters the area of massive space that the gas isn't filling. No, that definitely isn't the case. It's a violation of natural law. It's a second law of thermodynamics violation to assert that rockets go into a sky vacuum to take pictures of Earth as a sphere. And the church has done this already, so you don't need to trouble yourself with any GoFundMes to show for yourself that it's spherical. We can give that to you. We've already been to Narnia.
There you go.
And so, B.O.B.
I love the fact that... I was just going to say, I love the fact that he says all flippantly and easy, well, just go take a picture. Even in his narrative, how many actual pictures are there supposed to be of this globe Earth we've been living on for so long? Like actual pictures, not composites, not images, not artist renditions, not, oh, it's Photoshop because it has to be. Photographs, click, picture. How many of those do we supposedly have?
Well, let's just go. Well, we can't speak for the entirety, but we can go by the presentation we've had so far in this video. 0. None in this presentation. Not one.
All right, that checks out.
Come to Cape Canaveral for the launch of Light Sail 2, and we can take a meeting about your flat Earth.
Is Kyrie invited too?
If he wants, yeah.
Sure. So we'll go to the rocket, and have a meeting. So we're not even going to your launch pad with the church to be taking pictures from space. We can have a meeting. The rocket will piss off into the distance, meet the horizon, and then we'll clap and say it's gone into a sky vacuum. The gas at the horizon where it disappeared, that's still there. At high pressure, not expanding into the vacuum. But the rocket, yeah, that's gone to the sky vacuum to take pictures while we're having our meeting about flat Earth.
They can carpool.
Planetary Society, planetary.org.
Where we beg the question for you.
We're not the Flat Place Society.
We're not the Flat Place Society. Meanwhile, navigation's done flat. And backhanders for you, right? For not realising that. Yeah, this is just a church. Go to the church. Yeah? We're not the Christians. We're the place of Scientology. Yeah, just get the information from the church. If you disbelieve us, go to the church.
Society, we're the Planetary Society.
We're the Church of Planets. Yeah? Not the Flat Earth Society. Not Scientology. The Planetary Society. Just remember the name of our church, okay?
Great stuff. Well, hey, Don't want to take up any more of your time.
No, what you mean is you've had enough. But thank you, guys.
Well, you've got some people to hunt down about flat Earth and give them.
No, I don't. No.
We got.
This is just you objecting to anybody that's now disagreeing with you. Yeah, I'd have had enough of you. You know, you generally seem quite violent. You know, saying that you should backhand people and tell them to shut up.
I'm tied up in the back, though.
No,
I thought that's why you were here.
No.
Oh, was that somebody from our side? No.
It's their problem. We just don't want them to become science educators. Or
Scientificators? We don't want them to become scientificators. Is that a word?
I don't think so.
No, he said science educators.
Science
He said
educators.
science educators.
Like, because I'm a flat earther, am I not allowed, according to Bill Nye, to disseminate how cause and effect reasoning is based on a hypothesis, as I did earlier? I'm not allowed to educate people on science. How dare you? How dare you?
The title science educator, I think, in the Church of Heliocentrism is equivalent to a junior priest, isn't it? Or is it as the final title that Bill Nye's gotten, Neil deGrasse? They hold the title science educators, which is to educate in the way of heliocentrism and ignore science, to me. But that seems to be a title they're proud of normally.
But what's the higher title? Communicator or educator?
That's it. Yeah, it's communicator in it that they use. Well done, Chop.
Right. So
maybe
Mick West
educator is a junior.
Mick West
priest.
is a communicator. Bill Nye is an educator in science terms. I mean, none of them have anything to do with science whatsoever. And Scientology has definitely got a connection that we can start highlighting to this, because it is just the church of science. And this is a branch of the Church of Science, because that's what he's doing, isn't he? He's using the word
Pseudoscience.
Pseudoscience is actually what they're doing, but they call it science.
even better, we want those guys to have a revelation and say, wow, I was wrong.
So
what?
Why? I go on all day long about, oh, I don't care. If you want to believe Earth's a sphere, that's your bag. If you want to believe it's flat, that's your bag. Whatever. You know, live and let live sort of thing. I mean, if you value what we have to talk about in regards to flat Earth, then fine, that's great, we'll tell you. But Bill Nye, you've got a very different attitude. You think that people should be keeping stum if they don't agree with you, basically, don't you, Bill? Who was that from G+? Was it Chocolate?
It was me again, listening to the language. Doesn't want people to look into science and prove things. Wants them to have a revelation. I mean, I constantly say they use, like, evangelical language. That's another one. What are you going to have a revelation to the truth? What kind of epiphany is required for you to realize we're on a ball? What he's saying there, but he's not going to use science and evidence. He's asking the wayward soul to have a revelation.
Oh, no, they'll have a meeting. They'll give him some counselling while he watches a rocket go off out the window.
Well, hopefully when he's watching that rocket, he doesn't have any kids around that'll blow it up and be like, that rocket looks like it's going down. It looks bad.
Content.
His positioning is, I want them to admit that they're wrong. Okay, I don't mind if I'm wrong. I'll admit it. I want you to admit when you're wrong. Oh, no. I'm the arbitrator of this. I'll never admit I'm wrong. That's their position.
Yeah, I've got the title of science educator. So therefore, what I say goes, and what I don't say or you disagree with deserves a backhander.
I went down this road. I had a hypothesis about the Earth's flatness.
Sorry, a hypothesis is the establishment of a cause and effect relationship. So to be doing a hypothesis, you have to have a phenomena. So a flat Earth hypothesis is an oxymoron. Flat Earth is a concrete noun. I could throttle him. He's so stupid.
There you go. And that's what I said at the start. They'll try and ridicule us, but in doing so, will demonstrate their ignorance. And that's, there you go. He's got a hypothesis about the shape of the Earth. Yeah. Mate, you're dumb. You don't even know what you're preaching. But you stand there and you ridicule us, and to validate your position is just to call us dumb. And then you present that. You're a disgrace, you science educator.
But I went to Cape Canaveral for the launch of Lite Sail 2 from the planet.
So his hypothesis is about a concrete noun, and in order to validate or invalidate his hypothesis, he didn't vary A to see if it caused B, B being Earth's flat, a concrete noun, something you can't vary, even if you wiggle something. Ugh. What he did do is go off to the meeting room and watch a rocket take off. What, into the sky vacuum beyond the gas pressure not expanding into it? Clown shoes, that's nothing non sequitur to your non-experiment. How dumb are you?
Planetary Society, and
and I went to the church.
I realized the Earth was round.
So I formulated a hypothesis with a concrete noun, went and watched a rocket, non sequitur to the hypothesis that had a concrete noun, then I went to the church, then I knew it was a globe.
Wow, I'm so
you fundy zealot.
Much happier.
And happiness came? What?
Now, my perception of reality is so much more consistent with my observations.
Sorry, observations of what? The stars? That's what's twinkling in front of him. Elevation angle measurements to those stars. Well, what will be used in navigation, Mr. Backhander?
I'm empowered. I could...
Yeah, I am going to take your sentiment and just convey it to my audience for my cause. I am empowered. Not in a, I'm going to backhand you if you disagree kind of way, but in a, I know it's flat kind of way. Because it's measured and navigated that way kind of way. As in, the stars in front of this clown's shoe's face are going to be used on a flat earth kind of way. A justifiable confidence way. Not a, I'm going to backhand you, you better damn well listen, you're a dumbass if you don't get it, and if I go to the church and watch a rocket, I know it's a globe. Kind of way.
Dare I say it? Save the world!
And that's what we're trying to do.
Thanks, you guys. Thank you. Thanks, Cal.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Bill. Thank you for coming through.
That's great. Carry on.
Yeah, thanks for nothing. Dumbo. Right, any last comments on this?
That was cringy.
Go to Master D. No, it's worse than that. Go to Master D, Planetary Society. He's the CEO of it. They're garnering fundraisers, kind of akin to someone aligning with NASA, but being separate of NASA. But of course, they're not going to go against NASA. So he's the CEO, and I picked up one part there where they're against racism. There's many things there on that site, but if you look at this comment on racism, it only distinguishes one group of people, the black people, as if there isn't racism in other countries towards other types of people. Many of us are having a hard time looking up right now. It's a painful moment. We here at the Planetary Society recognize we must do more to support black people, including black people who love space. I'm against all racism. Black, white, yellow, it don't matter. Okay, but watch this. But watch this. He wants to backhand people.
There's black.
I mean, how can you be against racism and want to backhand flat earthers?
As a black transgender Jewish lesbian, I find this whole conversation highly problematic. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Fortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a member, and all that good stuff. Another massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ pals for making today's live show possible. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on either after show. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.